Do you celebrate Halloween, All Hallows Eve, Samhain? Whether you do or don't, we have some episodes coming up that are going to scare the pants off of you. If you wear any pants. You ought to listen to them, otherwise I won't have a trick for you. I'll have a treat. Wait, it's the other way around, isn't it? Well, I have a trick. The tricks won't be nice. I don't think you'd like to incur my wrath. So, if you know what's good for you, you'll listen to these episodes. We'll be back with Dangerous Dangers and that other one, what is it? Ride of the Valkyrie. Very soon, in November. But for now, it's time to get spooky.
This episode contains scenes of loss. Listener discretion is advised.
A podcast by the Intergalactic Improv Initiative.
Dangerous Dangers, Minisode 6, Just Another Day at the Lab. Featuring the voices of Maria Damianou and creator Kaya Renwick. Why don't we just wait here for a little while, see what happens? I should roll.
Dissetrix 10, 2928, Galactic Standard Calendar. November 6th, 2186, Terran Universal Coordinated Calendar. Galon, Zelene System, Crescent Nebula. Asari Tawalia Station, Ring 14A.
Welcome to Just Another Day aboard the Asari Tawalia Station. Nyx, you have been working here for many a year now. You are well used to the day-to-day grind, working on all of your research projects. It's a pretty quiet existence, so you know that the station is a series of rings. It's a cylinder, a long cylinder, and it turns. The gravity is created by a centrifugal force and mass effect fields as you turn in the atmosphere of wherever you are. You don't actually know where you are, and that is because all of the research that goes on in this station is either very carefully held in terms of proprietary information, or could possibly be dangerous if it got out. You know that a lot of things happen here, and your work is only one slice of the pie. And so you have lived for the last several decades in one little half ring of this station. Sometimes there have been years where your offices have been moved, you've switched to different rings on the station, but most of the time it's just you and your supervisor, Linesse, and whatever patient is in for your very important work. Now, that's not to say that it's an uncomfortable life. You have everything you need. Your room and board are 100% included for you. Everything is covered. There's a lovely little cafeteria and common area, and sometimes other researchers will pop in and out, and you get to chat. You have extranet access. It's a pretty damn good gig. All things considered, it's a pretty damn good gig. And you know that you're doing important work. Now, the last few months have been a little frustrating. There's been some supply line issues somewhere down the line. Not stuff that you really concern yourself about. But yeah, it's been kind of slow, and sometimes the extranet has been kind of choppy. The news broadcasts that have been coming through have been kind of light sometimes. You're like, oh, I feel like there's probably more going on in the galaxy than just this, but you know, you haven't really cared about the outside world for a while now. Like I said, it's a good gig. You're safe. You've got work to do. It's good work. You have friendly people. You have all of the novels you could possibly want to read. It's a good time. You're working late, as you sometimes do. Everybody else has gone to bed. You don't have a patient right now. It's just you and Linesse staying on this particular bit of the ring. You had a couple of other researchers come through earlier, sharing some results, and you guys had a chat over the evening meal. You tried to go to bed, but just couldn't sleep, so you got up and, you may as well run some more data from the last round of tests. Can't hurt. May as well. You're sitting at your desk, in the lab when you feel, more than hear, a loud bang from somewhere down the station tube. Not on your ring. You think it's further down in one direction. And that's kind of odd. That doesn't really happen. But, this station is fortified against, sometimes microasteroids hit, sometimes slightly bigger asteroids hit, right? It's a gas giant, you presume, is what you're orbiting around, based on the single window in the cafeteria that you can look out, which looks like a gas giant. And so, yeah, things get pulled into its orbit, and sometimes they hit the station. It's not the first time something like that has happened. But yeah, you hear this bang, and the lights flicker, which is also a little odd. But nothing else seems to happen. Should be okay. And in emergency, all of the sections of the station separate. And you assume that if something bad were to happen, alarms would be going off, and someone would call you. What do you do?
By the goddess. You'd think they'd actually invest in a decent barrier for the amount of money that's getting poured into this facility. Spare no expense, have whatever you need. Oh, but when it comes to your mental well-being, feeling like you're going to constantly become Swiss cheese, well, that's a personal problem. At this point, someone would have notified me by now. It's probably all in my head. Keep it together, Nyx. Something's not right. I feel like I would have heard from someone by now, and that was not a small object. I'd like to check my comms system.
Yeah, you can check the inter-system comms. You can try to call your lab director. You can try to call up the chain. There's not usually a lot of communication between the labs. You usually send each other messages. It tends to be safer that way, and you can kind of keep a paper trail. But you do have a couple of contacts that you could easily call up, yeah?
I'd like to contact my lab director.
Okay. It's pretty late, and you figure that Linesse might be asleep, but sometimes she goes off to do other business and the rest. And, you didn't check her quarters. Why would you have checked her quarters? And so you ring... And it rings. And Linesse doesn't pick up this time. It times out.
Linesse, come on. Out of any time for you to not pick up. Nyx is starting to get really anxious, and it's been a very, very long time since she's had to deal with a situation like this, and she feels very exposed right now. Is there any way I can check the computers, the communication, just trying to see if there's a security issue?
Yeah. You can... Your accesses from the lab are usually pretty limited, but you can try to access the extranet, you can try to access the messaging system.
Yeah, I'd like to access the messaging system.
There is nothing there.
Come on. This is some Krogan shit. Are there any alarms going off or any flashing lights? Anything that would potentially signify that there's something else happening?
As you're checking this and kind of going, what is the name of the goddess is going on here? Yes, the station-wide alarm starts buzzing. And usually this would come with a voice alert. Sometimes you do drills, right? The equivalent of fire drills. There's no announcement coming along with this one. It's just the klaxon.
And do I have any access to talk to the other rings?
No.
Oh, great. Of course. Well, let's see.
If you were to go out the door, to your left is the cafeteria, and then further on is the shuttle bay, which is, you have nowhere to go. It's off limits. Linesse can access it, but your permissions do not allow you to access it. And then if you were to go to the right of the lab door, there's a spare bunk room for like a visiting or an assistant researcher, and then your room, and then Linesse's room. There are blast doors at the end of the corridor in each direction that would lead to the other side of the station. And there are emergency access hatches in every room, shown by the 3 small lines. And those go into an underfloor maintenance, essentially.
I think at this time, I'd like to make sure that anything that I've been working on this evening is saved on my Omni tool, just making sure I'm downloading everything I can. And is there anything in this space that I can pick up that's available to me? Any tools?
Well, there would be whatever tools you use on a regular basis in your study.
So I'm going to look around the lab and pick up any medical tools that I can use. Anything that just may be necessary as we move around. A scalpel, some bandages.
Sure, yeah.
Sharp things and things that can mend. Yeah. Nyx is just going to look down at her tools and just pray to the goddess. Forgive me. It'd really be a shame to leave these behind.
Sometimes there is call for things like scalpels, and so you grab one. And of course, there's Metagel. Bandages aren't, you can probably find a couple, but mostly you'd be using Metagel. And so you can find some of that. And then, in this room, you'd have the records of your most recent research that you and Linesse have been doing. And then in the storeroom would be the older research that you've been doing. And your personal effects are, of course, in your room.
Is there a window on the lab door, or is it just completely solid?
No, it's solid.
Okay, great.
Yeah. The only window in this entire, and you assume on every other ring in the station, the only windows are the ones that are in the cafeteria. Otherwise, everything is enclosed.
I'd like to quietly exit the lab and carefully make my way towards the cafeteria.
Okay. So as you open the door, all you can hear are the klaxons at the moment. Nothing else has changed. The lights flickered the one time when you heard that bang, or you felt that bang resonate through the station, but you haven't heard anything else yet. The corridor is empty, which probably means that Linesse was in another part of the station when whatever happened. Otherwise, you presume that she would have come out and would be investigating what the hell the klaxons were about. Although she does have a secure workstation in her quarters, you know that. That is also where the secure arms locker is. There's one of those on every floor of the station. But she has in her quarters is the secure workstation and the secure arms locker. And so, you figure that she would probably be out here figuring out something, or she would have contacted you if she was on this section of the station. And since she's not, she must be elsewhere. So you exit the lab, you see and hear nothing different, the corridor is empty, and you turn to the left and you are headed to the cafeteria. There are blast doors, they're like thinner doors in between sections, and so you will have to go through one of them to get to the door to the cafeteria.
And these blast doors, they are triggered by an emergency. Would they close and then that's it?
These are normal containment doors that can be locked in the event of an emergency that you might need to quarantine a section of the station. So nominally, the only doors that are locked at all times are the ones that separate the two halves of each ring.
Right.
And which allow movement between the rings of the station.
Okay.
The interior hatches in the corridor, most of the time you'd walk up and it opens at your approach, right? They're automatic doors unless they need to be locked, in which case you could overwrite them.
I'd like to continue into the cafeteria space.
Okay. Yeah, you go through the corridor, through the single hatchway, into the cafeteria doors, and the cafeteria is as you expected. As you open the door and step in, the one window in this area of the station is right in front of you. It's not quite floor to ceiling, but just about. Directly in front of you are the couple of round tables where you'll eat your meals. You might play cards or have a sit and read. This is the common area. And then to your right is the kitchen area where you make your meals. There's a door also to your right that goes to the shuttle bay, and that's where supplies are brought in, so on and so forth. There's also a door immediately to your left, and which leads into a small storage room which functions as both like a pantry space and for the Asari equivalent of like Monopoly and things like that. That's where the entertainment is stored. Out the window you see the expanse of the gas giant. You see it's the faintly pastel-colored gases. You also see ships. And they are not like any ships you have ever seen before. They're a little far off, and the atmosphere of the gas giant is quite thick. So at first you think you're saying, is there like a meteor storm or something? Like, what's going on? But then no, you see them move, and there are red lights, like lasers firing through the atmosphere. And, these don't look like any ships you've ever seen before.
Nyx is just staring through the window, completely hypnotized by the gaseous giant. It's beautiful. Hold on. What's that? Usually, in terms of when we get our shipments, do we normally see these visitors or transports come in this path?
Supply transports and patient transports arrive at the station with reasonable regularity, and they're almost always Asari Republic's ships. With the familiar silhouettes, different sizes, and they're on. But and the way that the station is oriented in the atmosphere, you might see them pass by your window, but like usually what comes to your sections of the ring is like a shuttle from one of the larger ships, and so you might see a larger ship, further out. This much traffic, and this. Again, you've never seen this type of ship before. It almost looks like a cephalopod. You've never seen either this much traffic or this kind of ships before. It looks like there's a space battle going on out there, which is not something that you have seen in a very long time.
Right. Well, this might be a problem, and I think it's time for us to potentially prepare ourselves. I thought I left this behind me. Is there anything in the cafeteria that I can access, grab?
I mean, there's food. I would ask you to roll investigation to see what you can grab at short notice.
That is a 21.
Okay. You have organized this cafeteria so many times in your off time. You know where literally everything is. And you could... And you also know how to pack a go bag. So whatever you want to bring, I would say you can absolutely toss into a knapsack or what have you and have it ready within a few minutes.
Okay. Priorities, Nyx. What do we need right now? Snacks! I'm just gonna throw in some snacks. Anything that I can find immediately. Some water. Things that are essential.
Yeah, no problem. So it is... You work long hours. You need brain food. You need snacks. So you open the snack cupboard and grab an armful of protein bars that are all laced with Ezo because you're an Asari, you consume Ezo on a regular basis. You grab some canteens of water or canisters or what have you, and you are very quickly set. I'd say you probably grab like your couple of favorite data pads off of the shelves, something to keep your mind off things once you're out of here. And as you're finishing this, the klaxon stops. There's a blast of static.
This is Station Director I.L. Tamara. Evacuate all hands. All hands evacuate.
Another one.
I repeat, all hands evacuate.
By the goddess, what is that?
Evacuate!
And then the channel cuts off. It is now dead silent.
By the goddess. Think, Nyx. Make a plan. All right, I need to get to my quarters, go to the lab, just grab whatever I can, and I need a gun.
I'd say so. Okay, where's your next stop?
I want to exit the cafeteria, but I need to make sure that it's completely clear. Yeah, can I peer through and see if the coast is clear?
Yeah, absolutely. So you poke your head back out of the cafeteria door and you peek left and you peek right, and this section of the corridor is still empty.
Okay, so I'm going to run down the hallway towards lab storage.
Back toward the lab? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, you go through the door in between the cafeteria corridor and the lab corridor. You still see nobody. You duck back into the lab. Nothing has changed here since you were here maybe 10 minutes ago. And then you head into the lab storage. What are you grabbing? What are you looking for?
I'm looking to copy any important information, including my life's work.
Okay.
Nyx is realizing that her self-preservation will be for naught if she can't get the information that she's worked so hard for. What matters is the data. What matters is the past several decades of work. That matters. It needs to be retrieved. Otherwise, all is lost.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so this is there are 4 shelving units in this storage room that are full of data pads. You have been working here for decades. How long do you want to spend copying all of this sensitive information onto optical discs or directly onto your Omni tool? How long are you spending doing this?
Can I actually have it recording on an optical disc while I go into other rooms to gather whatever else I need? Is that possible?
You could leave and copy everything that was on your everything that was on your console. You could leave that to copy while you were going, but any of the backups that are just stored on data pads in the lab storage, you would need to manually copy those. If you had an assistant. Or if you wanted to, you could try to hack into the mainframe and copy from the station database. But there's no guarantee that you'd be able to do it. It would be a hacking roll.
Now, would that completely deny me of getting it, or that just means for that type of way of retrieving the information would be locked out after that, but I could still do it manually?
Yeah, so if you...
Because I'd like to try to hack.
Yeah, for sure. If it fails, what would probably happen in a normal circumstance would be that Linesse or Tamara, the station director, would get an alert, or station security would get an alert that you were trying to hack things, and then you'd get in shit. And yeah, your station would probably lock down. But yeah, you would then have to manually copy all of the data pads with your Omni tool, and that would take longer. That said, this is not a normal circumstance. And Tamara probably has bigger fish to fry at the moment than dealing with a lockdown console. And so you would probably have time, even if you failed on the first go and your console locked down, you would probably have time to try to circumvent that and break through it anyway. Again, it depends on what you want to spend the time doing. But yes, if you hack into the mainframe, into the main database, you can set that up to copy as much of the station's data as you wanted while you were running around getting everything else.
That sounds perfect. I think I'd like to do that. Multitasking, that's
okay.
What we like to do.
Absolutely. Okay, then roll me a hacking roll.
13.
You are working fast. This is not your
no.
Your area of expertise. You make it in, but you're going to need to prioritize what you want to take. Depending on, it's going to take a while, and so you're going to have to decide what information you want most so that it copies first, because you're pretty sure that you'd have to be here for probably most of a day to copy everything with what you've got going on now, because this isn't what you do.
All right, so we hack into it, and then we have files.
You would set it to copying your lab's backups first, and you're not sure how long exactly it would take, but you could probably get at least most of it. Maybe it would go faster. You don't know. You also have no idea what's going on in the rest of the system. So, but you're like, well, I could probably get most of what I've been working on. I don't know whether you'd be able to get what the rest of the station has been working on. You don't even know what that is. You hack into this and you see the file folder directory just goes, there is so much here. That, if you had infinite time, I'm sure it would be very interesting. But you don't, so.
Nyx is shaking her head. This is overwhelming. There's just this constant matrix of folders. It's crazy. I'm definitely going to download everything that I've been working on because I had firsthand knowledge with it.
Okay.
It would be really nice if there was a codex or
Sure.
something that even if you don't have all the files, it's something to refer to.
Yep. Yeah. So you could, I'll say we will, depending on how long you spend elsewhere, so you've set this up to copy and you've grabbed the master index keys sort of thing. And so, yeah, you've set all this up to copy. And what we'll do is depending on how long you've been going, we'll roll a luck check to see how far the copying has gotten.
All right. Next, I am headed to my quarters.
You head in there. There is still, so you pop into the corridor out of the lab, still nothing. You head into the corridor before the quarters, still nothing.
I have a poster on the wall. The Hang in There Kitty poster. It was a gift from Linesse. She swears that she didn't regift it, but I've seen her glance at that poster. I think she's afraid of cats. Nyx takes a moment to look at that cute little face and pink nose.
In the section above your head, so the next section up, you hear echoing through this god-awful scream. It is unearthly. It makes your heart seize in your throat. It is just horrendous. You hear this scream just echo through the station.
My heart rate's up. Oh, no. I don't know what that was, but we need to hurry up. I am looking around in my room just to gather anything that I'd like to take with me.
Yeah, sure. So what is in your quarters is up to you. You don't get to go shopping.
Right.
But you have had opportunity to order things and have them delivered. So, this isn't a monkish existence. You do have whatever creature comforts you want. And so, yeah, whatever, again, what I'll do is I'll get you to roll me an either, no, you know what, this time let's do dexterity, because you're getting a little hopped up on adrenaline, and so this is going to be a how much you can pack of your stuff or how quickly you can pack what you think you want. No, you know what, give me resolve. Give me a resolve roll, that's better.
That's a 6.
Okay. So you do always have the option of spending an effort to re-roll. That will obviously incur that effort point, given this is a prequel Minisode. That's not really the end of the world, so it is up to you, and would only really come into play if somehow in the next 20 minutes you use all of your effort points, which is technically possible, I suppose. But yeah, if you want to re-roll, you can spend an effort point to do so.
Yeah, I'm gonna take a moment to just be like, Nyx, just calm down. Calm down. We're very good at this. We ease people, right? We ease their pain. Take a breather. I'm gonna roll again. 18.
There we go. So your training, your decades of training kicks in and you center yourself and you're like, it's okay. This is just like, sometimes you have patients who, when it comes to the end, even though, you've done everything you can for them, sometimes people have that moment of, no, I don't want to. And sometimes you have to help them calm down and talk them back down. This is just like that, right? You have done this innumerable times, right? And so you take that moment and you breathe and you center yourself and you're like, okay, I've got this. What are you bringing with you?
I'm bringing a photo of my mom with me. I'm going to rip that poster off the wall. I'm taking that cat. I look on my desk. I pick up a visor. This thing is in desperate need of repair. Sure, I try to mess around with it, but to no avail. Repair requests take an age, even by my own standards. On the other side of the desk is my tried and true extra-strength Volus-shaped stress ball. This little guy helps keep my hands, wrists, and forearm muscles in check. It was worth its weight in credits. I look at my nightstand and fumble with the drawers. There's a box with little mementos, notes, trinkets, a few credit chits with thank you cards from patients and their families. Underneath those things, I notice some unopened letters and a locket that I haven't been able to open, but it's been given to me by someone I used to care about. So,
sure. Do you grab anything in the way of clothes or anything like that? Or are you just going to pick up whatever you can whenever you get wherever you're going?
So I'm in lab gear.
Yep.
This type of suit it's actually pretty fancy. It has a little bit more thickness to it. It's able to monitor my vitals and whatnot. So things like that, I feel actually more confident in this. My equipment, anything that I've had from the past, that is stored somewhere else. We get to wear the fancy suit, but no weapons.
Yep. Yes. Yeah. That would be in the secure locker. Yeah. Everybody working on this station gets the fancy Enviro suit just in case, because you are in a situation where if there were a hull breach, you need to be able to still have oxygen. And so these fancy lab coats, they do have a hood that you can so you would survive in low oxygen for a while. But yes, any of your prior personal effects would be stored in the secure arms locker in Linesse's quarters.
Next, I go across the room to my bed. It is messy. I'm looking around the covers. Where's that stupid shirt? Finally. I actually got this shirt from one of my sisters during a Janiri fertility festival. It was a part of a gift swap between the rings of the facility. It's actually one of the few holidays we get time off to celebrate. I don't really know the significance of this, other than what the extranets told me. It's apparently some Terran relic, a band called Nin. Whoever they were, this is a really great shirt. I am not letting this go.
Love that. Okay, yeah, you shove all of this into your bag, and now, what are you doing next?
So, I'd like to check on lab storage before heading to Linesse's quarters.
Okay, Yeah, so you run back. It's still copying. It hasn't been interrupted yet. You're still good. Okay, now, Linesse's quarters are locked.
All right, fantastic.
So you will either need to try to hack in, which again, if you fail, is going to alert station security. Whether or not it's going to do anything at this point, you have no idea. There are also the emergency maintenance access hatches.
Right.
So you could go down underneath and try to get in that way. I don't know if you would have ever thought about, they're not locked. They're meant for emergency access. But would Linesse's be you're not sure. It might be an easy way through, or it might be just as locked as the normal door.
Yeah, we'll go through the emergency duct.
Where are you entering from? Are you entering from the lab, or are you entering from your room?
I'm going to enter from my room.
Okay. So you shove the end of your bed out of the way as the hatch is underneath there, and you haul it open. It's a manual release because, again, this is in case of emergency. If the power goes out for whatever reason, it is manual release. You haul it off, and you're like, okay, this is feeling pretty good. I'm probably going to be able to get in here. And you go down, and down in this corridor, it's almost but not quite a crawl space. You have to kind of duck. It's all just emergency light. And down here, you can hear, because all of the maintenance corridors through the station, they're all connected, right? They still have blast doors and stuff because, again, if something got into the vents and there wasn't any sort of quarantine, that would be a problem. But these corridors go through the station with far less soundproofing than the main lab ring areas. And so as you go down in there, as soon as you haul the hatch off, you start to hear the echoes of gunfire and yelling and screaming, and some of the yells and screams sound like your fellow Asari. Some of them definitely do not. You have never heard beings make noises like that before. You hear another echo of that horrendous scream that you heard in the level above you. And because these corridors are all interconnected, you don't know where anything is coming from. None of it sounds like it's close enough to present a danger to you, but who knows?
Well, crap. There's a million things going on inside, and that's all I could think of.
Yeah. It's a bad time.
All right, so, Nyx uses this cramped passageway to continue her resolve and narrow her focus to Linesse's quarters. She reassures herself. The sooner I have access to Linesse's quarters, the sooner I will get my gear back.
Your room is right next to Linesse's room, and so it's a few feet, and then, okay, that hatch there is the one I want. It doesn't look locked from this side. It was pretty heavy when you pulled it out from above. And so this is going to be you're going to have to shove it open and hope that there's nothing on top of it. But it doesn't look like it's locked.
We'll try to push it open if we can.
Okay, give me an athletics check.
Oh, that's a 5. What the hell is up there?
Ugh. Yeah, you give it a shove, and you can kind of get it to move. You hauled the other one up. It wasn't a problem. It was heavy, but it was, whatever. You've hauled stuff around the lab. You've moved crates, right? You're not a weakling. But yeah, there must be something on top of it.
Well, if I can't get through this, we're gonna have to go around and try to hack through that door.
Do you have any biotic powers that would shove? Because you are a biotic.
I have warp. I don't have throw or pull.
Well, warp might. You never know. It's worth a try.
I'm trying to balance the pros and cons of, I know I have to get in there, but I don't want to make a big boom or any type of thing to get anybody to...
Fair to bring attention?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Totally fair. Okay. then yeah, if you don't want to give that a try yet, you can backtrack and go to try to hack the door. Yep.
Oh, okay. Yes, let's try all our options before we start breaking shit. Yeah, this is it. Methodical thinking.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, you come back out, and this level of the ring, it's still, well, apart from the noises now emanating from your open maintenance corridor, it's quiet up here, which is maybe almost worse. You go out the door, and you are now in front of Linesse's quarters with the big red lock panel, and you're going to try to hack it?
Right before I hack it, can I knock on the door and ask, Linesse, is everything okay?
There's no answer.
Let's hack this door.
Okay, roll me hacking.
It's an 8.
No luck. You can't, like, this is something that it's not locking you out. You just didn't manage it. So you can keep trying.
Yes, I'd like to try. Can I spend another effort point?
In this case, since you are, so there's nothing keeping you from trying again otherwise. In this case, I'll say that using the effort point will give you a +2 on the roll.
Nyx, determined, tries again. 15.
Perfect. The combination of adrenaline and I gotta get in here, this is a matter of life or death. And you're like, you manage it, and it flashes green, and the door slides open, and you are in Linesse's quarters. It is very Spartan in here. Your lab director is a very no-nonsense woman. You see a few personal items, but I don't know, like, how closely are you looking? What's your plan here?
First, I'm just gonna whisper, Linesse, are you in here?
There's nobody there.
She's no nonsense, so I'm gonna look for, gosh, I don't know if she would ever forget her key card, but I want to look for anything that can help me gain access in the event that I need to in the future.
You cast a look around. You see her secure workstation is flashing with a priority alert. So that's most of the light in the room is just from the workstation that is flashing red and white.
Okay.
There is a drawer in her desk. There is so the closet at the far end is also locked, like with the big red lock panel. So there's a drawer in her desk, and there's a small decorative box on her nightstand that you would think it was a jewelry box, probably. It's of the type, like, the sort of interlocking wooden boxes sort of thing that's half tchotchke, half puzzle sort of thing, and they usually they hold something on the inside. Some sort of memento, you presume.
All right, the first thing I want to try to do is see what that flashing light message is. See if I could get any further information about what's happening right now.
You scramble over, and this is a high enough priority message that it does not require you to log into the workstation to see it. And it says, "Attention all hands, evacuate station. We have been breached. Intruders are on station. Evacuate." There is precious little information. You see the timestamp is sent probably about 20 minutes ago now, about the time that you heard that bang, or you felt that bang run through the ship. And you kind of get the feeling like this was dashed off in an incredible hurry.
Okay. Is this something that I can record onto my Omni tool just to collect?
You could take a picture of it.
Okay, I'm taking a picture of it. Just anything that I can collect as much information as possible would be fantastic. Also, can I hack her computer?
Yeah, you can try.
Or try to, I would like to see. 13?
Not quite. You try, and it's the encryption is just a little bit beyond you.
Can I steal it?
I mean, I don't think it would fit in your bag. It'd be kind of awkward. Like, you could try to, like, warp the console open and, like, steal the hard disk.
You know what? can we set that aside and I can go?
Sure.
I totally am holding on to all these warps just so it's like once I make the boom, I want to get the hell out of here.
Yeah.
It's tempting. I keep thinking, but you can always do this. Keep our eye on the prize right now. Okay. So next is I want to go to that box, that intricate box, see if I can open it, see if there's anything in there.
Roll me. Roll me a dexterity check.
16?
Yeah, that's plenty. You're familiar with this sort of little puzzle, and it takes you like 30, 45 seconds to kind of flick it around and figure out which bit goes where. But it slides open, and inside are a key card and an OSD.
Oh, fantastic. We're taking that.
Yoink! Okay, what next?
There is the closet, the desk drawer. Okay, desk drawer. I would like to try to get into that.
Okay, as you approach, you notice that it has a little scanner. Do you try the key card on it, or do you just try to open it?
Definitely try the key card first.
Okay, you try the key card, it pings and opens. That was clearly like Linnesse's little private, this is where I keep my backups sort of thing. And yeah, it slides open, and there's a handful more OSDs in there.
Grab them.
Okay. There's nothing else in there that you can see. This. It was a fairly thin drawer.
Okay, great. We're just going to keep grabbing everything and fill up our inventory and try to sell it later.
Okay.
Story of my life.
Perfect. Yes. Or turn it on to Omnigel,
Fantastic. Yeah. Okay, great. Next, I'd like to access the secure closet.
Okay. So you presume, since you see nothing else in here, but you know that the secure locker is in Linnesse's quarters, that it's probably in this closet. And sure enough, you try the key card, you're like, beep, boop, beep, boop. And yes, it unlocks and opens up. And you notice that there's two sets. There's obviously Linnesse's stuff, and then there are your personal effects that you kind of put into storage when you started working here, and they travel around to whichever level of the ring you're on, as you have gained the trust and reputation working here over the decades. That in case of emergency, you are able to defend yourself. Presumably they didn't think about the possibility that the person who was supposed to be able to get in here wasn't going to be here. But hey, you figured it out. It's fine. So yeah, your old huntress gear is here.
Nyx is just beaming. She's got the biggest smile on her face. Oh, come to Mama. It's been a long time. And man, does it feel good. My heart skips a beat. To Ani, my beautiful sword. I've missed you. I pick up my M11 suppressor. It feels good to have my gear back, but the weight of the situation is creeping in.
The heft of the silenced pistol and its familiar clunk on the hip of your hard suit once you're all plated in, and then the feel of the Tani's hilt in your hand. It's like, oh yeah, it's like coming home. Do you carry the helmet with you, or do you put it on right away?
Yes, I'm going to put the helmet on because I have no idea what's going on, and I don't know if the structural integrity of even this facility is compromised. That'd be great.
Yeah, sure. You are suited up. As you click your helmet into place, I'd like you to roll me a perception check, please.
That's an 11.
You hear something underneath your feet. Sounds like you can't tell what it is, but something is making noise in the maintenance corridors underneath your feet. Now, here's the question. Did you close the hatch in your room?
On normal circumstances.
Would you have done that?
Yes.
Okay. If you're not sure whether you would have, you are welcome to roll a luck check.
I would love to roll a luck check.
Okay, so basically this is heads or tails, where if it's 11 to 20, it's a yes. If it's 1 to 10, it's a no.
Ooh, it's a no.
Okay, so you know that the hatch in your room is open. Now, granted, there is a door between whatever is down there and whatever's up, and you don't know if you have no idea what's down there. You have no idea if it knows you're here, but there is something that is getting close.
Great. Well, before we GTFO from this secure weapons closet, can I see if there is anything else? Does Linesse have anything?
Roll me an investigation.
Oh, that's a 6.
She keeps her guns disassembled.
Okay.
She's one of those people. And so, yes, you kind of guess, like, based on you're remembering your old training. It's been a few decades since you were in the army, but you're like, oh, that looks like probably an AR and that looks like a sniper rifle, but they're all disassembled. So you could grab a couple of mods, or you could try to grab as much like the component parts. But yeah, it's up to you what you wanna try to grab.
I really, really want that scope.
Okay, that's an easy one. You know what a scope looks like? You grab that scope. Okay.
I feel like if there's anything else that I can possibly take with me that makes sense, is there a clip extender or anything like that? Something to add more ammo in the future?
Let me roll a luck check on my end. There is.
Hey. I'll take that.
You've got a scope and a clip extender.
Okay, great. What's stopping me from taking everything?
Time!
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Okay. Well, I think that's good for now.
Okay.
We're done here. And we need to get out of here very quietly. Can we stealthily tiptoe to the door?
Yeah, roll me stealth.
Oh, that's 22.
All of your old training is coming back. You've spent long enough in a lab that you'd kind of forgotten it, but now it's like, oh no, it's right back there. And you creep up to the door. Roll me perception again, this time with advantage.
19.
You hear the noises down below in the maintenance corridor, but now that you're not moving and you're paying attention, it sounds like they're like on the other side of the blast door ring. So they're like a few meters outside. They're not immediately underneath you. So you figure, oh, you were hearing the reverberations and then through the open hatch in your room. So whatever it is, it's not quite here yet. It is coming closer, but it's not quite here yet.
I don't know if it makes a difference because I forgot to add my modifier because that would have made it 24. I just like jumped in on the highest number of 19. I'm so sorry.
That's okay. You can tell probably that whatever's moving down there is relatively small. It's kind of like wandering. It's small and slow. Whatever's going on down there, like it's not purposeful.
Oh man, what if it's one of my lab mates?
Well, you could always pop your head down through what was on top of the hatch was Linesse's bed, much like in your quarters. So you could haul it aside and open the hatch in here, or you could go into your room and poke your head down and see, or you could just go get your copying OSD and run.
Yeah, that's what I was planning on doing, to go and get the OSD and then like kind of quickly go, hello, then and then just freaking like run, even if someone responds or it's like a it's just like Marco Polo, I don't know, something. Yeah, we're gonna try both.
Okay. You make your way back to the lab, and you find that you've spent enough time that it has copied everything from your lab, and you did get the index file.
Fantastic.
So are you going to stop it there?
I mean, I have all my gear on me. I'm pretty stealthy. I think I can hold off.
You're going to leave it for just a little bit longer?
Just a little bit. We're just going to milk it. Yeah.
Okay, now are you going to go back into your quarters and poke your head down into that hatch, or are you going to open the one that's in the lab? It's right beside your desk.
You know what? I just forgot. I don't think I packed my personal data pad that I've had all my life. I think I forgot that. No, we can't.
Oh, well, we can't miss that.
The poster was all I was thinking about at first, but
yeah.
We're going to have to... Oh, poop. We're going to have to go back and get that. So whatever data that I was able to get at this time, that's all I can get because I need to go back.
All right, so you're stopping the copy, you're taking that OSD, and then you're running back to your quarters?
Yes. Very gracefully and silently running back.
The stealth roll will still apply for this movement. On your next movement, you're going to have to do another one. Okay? All right, so you make it into your room, you get your personal data pad. Are you sticking your head down the hatch or no?
Can I open the hatch very quietly and...
So the hatch is still open, right? We decided that you'd left it open.
Oh, that's right, that's right. Can I drop something in there?
What do you want to drop?
Well, now that I have my sword back, I'm gonna take my extra strength, Volus-shaped stress ball, give it a kiss, and I'm just gonna drop it.
Okay, it clatters to the bottom of the tunnel, and the noises that you hear, like the sort of scuffling, stops, and then you hear it approach, and you hear this.
Nope. Can I proceed to close that?
Yes, you absolutely can.
Nope.
Yeah, you shut that motherfucker. And where are you going next?
We're getting the hell out of here. I have everything. I've got the data, all that I could get. I've got all my gear.
Yep.
I'm gonna have to run all the way across to the shuttle bay.
Yep.
Yep.
You can either do athletics or acrobatics for top speed, or stealth for lower speed but less noticeable.
I'm gonna do the stealth.
Okay.
17.
You make it to the shuttle bay door, and as you arrive, you hear that unearthly scream from your level. It is down the corridor, back towards the quarters. But whatever is making that horrible noise is now on your level. There is one door, well, and I suppose an airlock. There is one door between you and the shuttle, and an airlock between you and theoretical freedom. What are you doing?
I click on my comm to see if anyone is there before exiting.
Do you identify yourself on the comm?
This is Lanesse. There are no survivors here. If there's anyone out there, please respond. We're getting off this damned facility.
You get a ping back in return, and this croaky, pained voice that is altogether too familiar.
Moray's here. Get the fuck out.
And the line goes dead.
What? How? Is she here? Of course she's not here, Nyx. This is either some kind of sick joke, or I finally lost it. Whatever. We need to get the hell out of here. I could deal with triggering psychosis later.
Are you going to try to hack the door, or are you going to try to use Lanesse's keycard?
I'm going to use Lanesse's keycard.
Good, because it opens.
Yay!
And yeah, you are presented with a boring shuttle bay, with a boring shuttle, standard Kodiak shuttle, but obviously not in Alliance colors, in Asari colors, and the big old doors leading to the greater galaxy. I hope you can fly a shuttle.
I think we can fly a shuttle. We're going to manifest that we can fly a shuttle.
Okay, the key card gets you in. and unlocks the controls, and it lets you the airlock doors open. Right there's the exchange of pressure, and you see on the other side of those doors the expanse of the gas giant. And in your direct view, you don't see any other ships, but you know they're out there.
Nyx can't seem to shake the feeling. What if that was Mireille on the comm? Before I leave, can I try to contact whoever that was on the other line?
Yeah, of course you can. Yeah, what do you say?
Mireille, please, can you hear me? What are you doing here? You shouldn't be here.
The voice on the other end lets out this sort of sad laugh. A sad, bloody laugh. And Mireille says,
I knew that wasn't what I say. Nyx, get out. Go. If you still can go, get out.
Where are you? I could come get you. I'm already at the shuttle bay.
There's no point. You heard those screams? There's no coming back from what does those screams. Trust me, you don't want to see what they do. Just go. If you ever loved me, go.
I can't leave you.
I'm already gone. Do you have the locket?
Of course. Yes.
Then take it with you. You don't want to see me like this. I don't want you to see me like this. Hurry. Nyx. Please. Let me know you're safe. And go.
I love you. I've always loved you.
I know. I'm so sorry. You always deserved better than...
I just want you to know. I forgive you. I forgive you.
I loved you too. I'm sorry I never told you. Now go before they get you, for God's sake. Go!
Nyx is finding it difficult to close the comm. Piares be with you, Mireille. This isn't the end. Her hands are trembling, turning the engines on.
Drive core spools up. It's in perfect working order. This is a very well-funded research station. Everything's good. You've got fuel enough to get to whatever's out there.
At this point, I am just punching in whatever coordinates I can to find the nearest mass relay.
Fly through the airlock and your old academy training comes back. It's been a while since you flew a shuttle, but I mean, it's a little bit like riding a bike. You zoom out and the scene before you is apocalyptic. These cephalopod ships are everywhere. There are Asari ships trying to fight them, and within about 30 seconds, you see at least a dozen explode. you don't see any of the cephalopod ships taking damage. You have no idea what is going on out here, but it is bad. And so you, knowing that you are in an unarmed shuttle, you get as far away as you can.
I reach into my pack and grab the locket. Still in shock. The past several hours, several decades, everything that I've had in my life ripped away from me. Mires.
You have been listening to I Should Roll, Dangerous Dangers, Minisode 6, Just Another Day at the Lab, featuring the voices of Maria Damianou as Nyxandra Lalliri and Kaya Renwick as everyone and everything else. Music and sound effects are used under Creative Commons or royalty-free licenses. For the extended credits, please see the show notes, and for more information, please visit ishouldroll.com. Find us everywhere on social media at I Should Roll, and don't forget to leave us a review. I Should Roll is an Intergalactic Improv Initiative production. This fan podcast is a transformative work and is not affiliated with Electronic Arts or BioWare. Thank you for listening.